All right, so the God of gaps. Everybody's heard of the God of gaps, okay? Now, if God created everything, okay, that's what done it. How was it done? Different opinions all throughout, okay? Doesn't matter. Regardless, what happened, happened, okay? Now, what happened? Well, life forms came to be over billions of years. Whether God came down and mysteriously waved a magic wand, doesn't matter. Whether life naturally done it itself, doesn't matter. Fact is, it occurred, okay? There's what done it and how it was done, okay? We have all these holes, okay? So, during this creative process, there are gaps because less than 1/10 of 1% of fossils ever fossilize. So, this is where the God of gaps actually resides, okay? The God of gaps resides in biological evolution. Grandfather's paradoxes, same thing. When I claim evolution is full of grandfather's paradoxes, people think I'm crazy. And then they start talking about time travel, okay? I'm not the one that's talking about Santa Claus, okay? When they start talking about time travel. As far as we know, time travel is a myth. There's no possible way to travel into the past. The only way to travel into the future is through time dilation. This is where it stops. This is all we know about time travel, okay? It's all theoretical. But what is factual? Biological life forms are factual. Grandfathers factually reside in biological life forms, okay? So, if you have biological life forms with no original progenitor, you have a grandfather's paradox. That's what we have in evolution. All throughout the branches, we have grandfather's paradoxes. But nobody bothers to address either one of these situations. Now, I wonder, do they not address them because they don't see them? Or do they not address them because they choose not to see them to continue to argue whatever perspective or points that they're trying to argue? But let me tell you this. If you can't see or notice or argue these points or find a pragmatic or logical ground in either of these rooted situations, then your arguing is pointless. Because you're not even arguing what matters. Oh, it's all opinions. These need to be addressed first before we can even start arguing and speculating. Now, when it comes to evolution, again, I'm just going to throw this out here. We got a 49 million year old basilosaur fossil. We have Pakicetus, which is 49, 50 million years old. Takes 10 to 15 million years minimum for what they say a four-legged animal should lose its legs and evolve into a whale. Now, how do they reconcile this if the fossils are the same age? It doesn't make sense. Again, people that argue for evolution will choose to ignore this. And this is where Stoicism actually comes in. You ask the most simplest questions first. And if you can ask the simplest question, well, I guess you got them trapped. Can nobody answer this? The best they got is, well, we'll just cram it where it doesn't fit, or we'll just claim, oh, well, we weren't exactly right, and maybe it happened this way. Maybe and possibly, and scientists think, and the probability, and all these aren't this is or was, okay? These are theories and speculations. That's why it's still the theory of evolution. Now, I'm not saying evolution didn't happen. What I'm saying is it's so damn muddy and murked up that it's divided people so easily. But neither one of these classes of people bother to ask the simplest questions. And when they do, they twist it around, which gets us nowhere. Now, personally, I believe that whales adapted out of the water. Okay? But sitting here talking to AI, it signified to me that technically the whales can adapt out of the water and go back into the water. So maybe that's what happened. In fact, I'm seeing a half of the picture. They're seeing half of the picture. How about both of them are probably correct? Like pretty much every argument that mankind has developed. Both sides are actually correct, but they got to twist everything in some way or contort it somehow to make it fit. I'll give you an example. The word supernatural. This is where people fall apart, okay? People are like, oh, there's nothing supernatural because the universe is a natural phenomena. Yes, that's true. But the word supernatural is actually a relative term because relative to us and Earth, the sun itself is supernatural. It's millions of degrees. It's loud enough to basically incinerate every atom in our body. It's hot enough to dissolve us. It's It lives billions of years. It's friggin' huge, and it's only one of the smaller ones, okay? So I would consider that, relative to a human, supernatural. So the word supernatural is a relative term, which nobody bothers to specify. And look, I understand if you don't fall left and you don't fall right and be pushover, left or right, and you teeter up the middle where most people aren't, typically you're not liked by anyone. But it's not about being liked. It's about being a pragmatic and logical thinker, which I like to be. So it's not about being liked. I won't sell myself out, but I'll say what's on my mind. And if two classes of people have to fight over it and can't come to a conclusion over it, then that means I must be the bad guy that sees something that both of them don't see, or sees both of what they do see and all the holes in what they can't see. Now, I'm just a regular person. I'm no genius. I only got a small college education, but that doesn't mean I can't ask logical, pragmatic questions. And that doesn't mean I can't just simplify a problem. I learned to simplify in school. That was a big part of school, being a critical thinker and learning to simplify. These days, all of this knowledge at our fingertips gives us an illusion of intelligence, but it takes away the agency of thought. So instead of thinking about something, analyzing it, finding out where it makes sense and where it doesn't, people just think, well, we got the internet, and somebody put some information on the internet. If I read it there, I must know what it is. And it must be true. That's the problem.